Hey everyone, Uriel came here. Welcome to another episode of Ask Yuri. And I don't know if you heard that. That was my dog Jack sitting behind me. He just had a nice big yawn. Here he is. Hey buddy. Alright, so we're going to be talking a little bit about diabetes today. We're going to talk about what it is, how it's caused, how you can, kind of get over it. So this is a question that I got recently. And a little bit of commotion going on here with the dogs, so let's try to focus. Okay, so so basically the first question is, what are the dangers of diabetes? So first off, let's look at the causes of diabetes. Diabetes pretty much is a condition that is defined as being insulin resistant. So your muscle cells, your cells in your body do not recognize insulin. And that's a problem because insulin, what it does is it's kind of like a messenger that goes to your cells and says, hey, open up. We need to let some sugar in. We need to let, if you've had a meal and your blood sugar is elevated, you need to get that sugar out of the blood, otherwise it becomes very dangerous. So what insulin does is when it notices that there's higher levels of sugar in the blood, the pancreas secretes insulin into the blood and it'll circulate to the muscle cells, the liver and all that stuff, and it'll say, hey, open up, let these guys in, get them out of the blood, store them as glycogen, and the whole bit, right? That's a normal process. But what happens with diabetes is that the cells don't respond to insulin anymore. So therefore there's no sugar that's able to get into the cells. So that's why you have sugar sitting in the blood, and that's not a very good thing. Okay? So it's a progressive disease. Usually the first kind of stages are hypoglycemia, right? So if you've had hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, if you have really bad, fluctuating blood sugar issues, that's a beginning stage of diabetes, type 2 diabetes we're talking about. So you want to be careful. You really want to modify how you're eating, right? Really reducing the refined sugars coming into your body is really the first step you want to look at. Because the good thing about diabetes is that it's a lifestyle disease, so it can be totally reversed. And my dad had type 2 diabetes. I know I've worked with a lot of people who've had it as well. It can totally be reversed by lifestyle, exercise, and proper diet. Okay? So reducing the amount of refined sugars, reducing the alcohol, improving whole grains if you want, a lot more fiber into your diet to slow the release of slow the release of sugar into the blood, and basically improve your body's functioning just through fresh whole foods. So the causes of diabetes really, it can be a lot of things, but basically the things it comes down to are things that are going to play with your blood sugar, right? So high sugar diet, stress. Stress is going to put a lot more stress on the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are going to increase the secretion of cortisol and epinephrine. Both of those are going to break down more sugar into the blood because there's more like a fight or flight response type of response. And again, anything that's going to bring more sugar into the blood, not a good thing. Okay. Symptoms of diabetes: basically frequent urination, frequent hunger, and frequent thirst. Okay, so I should talk about excessive thirst, hunger, and urination. Those are the three hallmark signs of type 2 diabetes: hunger, thirst, urination. Okay. What are the dangers? Well, the dangers are, you may have heard of diabetic neuropathy. I can't even remember. Okay, so when you have a lot of sugar in the blood, right? What ends up happening is that sugar is acidic, right? So it's going to start doing bad things within the body. One of the things that happens is neuropathy in the feet, for instance, right? So you'll start losing feeling in your feet because the nerves are being literally attacked or eaten away by the sugar. So there's all sorts of things that can happen from a nervous system perspective. You can also have diabetic retinopathy. So the retina, like in your eye, you can actually go blind from sugar accumulating in the blood vessels in the eye, and that's obviously, you just want to lose your eyesight. That's not a good thing. Those are the big dangers. I mean, if you have diabetes, it's linked with heart disease, it's linked with obesity, it's all part and parcel of the same thing, right? It's a lifestyle issue, and with that comes other lifestyle issues like heart disease, cancer, obesity, the big four, right? The big four that are really knocking off people left, right, and center in the Western world. How to prevent it? Well, healthy diet and exercise. Okay? The cool thing about exercise is it has the exact same effect as insulin. Insulin, if you took an insulin injection, just as I mentioned before, with insulin in the blood, it'll basically tell the cells, open up, let the blood sugar in. Exercise does the exact same thing. It stimulates receptors within the muscle cells to come to the cells, to the cell membranes, to open up and allow sugar to come in. So exercise and insulin have the exact same, pretty much the exact same cellular effects, right? At the cellular level, insulin and exercise have this pretty much the exact same effect. So if you exercise on a regular basis, that's going to make a huge difference in your ability to prevent becoming diabetic. Also, if you have diabetes, you want to get active, right? Because as I just mentioned, exercise is like insulin. So get active, get moving, right? On a daily basis. At the minimum, go for a walk at the very minimum. Incorporate some strength training. Do some higher intensity training as well. You're going to really benefit from that. Eating a healthy, whole foods, fresh food diet is going to be huge, right? Limiting the amount of refined sugars in, lots of fruits and veg, lots of fiber. That's going to be really important. And how to control it if you've already contracted it, basically is just what I've said. It's the exact same steps to prevention in the treatment phase, okay? Just a couple of supplemental things you can do. This is more, again, before doing any of this, I mean, I should have mentioned this before the beginning of the videos. Obviously you want to monitor yourself with your doctor, with your physician, right? Definitely follow their advice. I'm going to give you a couple things aside from the food that you can use to help with the blood sugar. Again, if you can get this in the early stages, you're going to be much better off, okay? So chromium, right? If you want to supplement with chromium, that might be beneficial because chromium is a mineral that is needed for insulin to work properly. So it helps get the glucose, the sugar, out of the blood and into the cells. The problem is that chromium is stripped away in a lot of the foods because of the refining process. So supplemental chromium has been shown to be very beneficial for regulating blood sugar. Cinnamon, adding cinnamon to whatever food you like, also has a blood sugar taming effect. Most herbs and spices have very, very good healing properties. Cinnamon is one of them. So cinnamon is really good for blood sugar. You can also use another supplement, again, or look into using another supplement called Schizandra. It's a berry. Don't even ask me about the spelling. I'll write it out somewhere. But just look for Schizandra in a health food store. It as well has been shown to help regulate blood sugar. Again, check all of this with your doctor first and foremost. But again, even without this stuff, you'll be fine just with exercise, a properly kind of looked over physician, and a healthy whole foods diet where you're removing a lot of the refined sugars, removing the carbonated sodas and the alcohol and all that other stress, and so the good news of diabetes is that it's pretty much totally reversible and it's totally dependent on you, okay? You need to take responsibility for your health, and you need to take responsibility for the fact that you can do something about it. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. Thank you very much once again for the question. Diabetes is a big issue. If you need help eating well, if you need help improving, preventing that, if you don't want to have diabetes in the first place, right? If you need to learn how to eat well, I highly recommend reading my book, Eating for Energy. Okay, the website is eatingforenergy.ca. Start there. Okay, it's a really, really good approach to eating and living healthier, so that you don't have to get into diabetic states and hypoglycemic states. It's not a lot of fun, guys. So thanks again for tuning in. I'm Yuri Alkim, and I'll see you in the next episode.